All right, y'all, welcome, welcome. I am going to do my best to try to give like a very professional update, but it's not good today. And if I say it's not good, it's not good today. A lot of things came out today that I just cannot ignore as a woman. And I can honestly say that I damn near had to leave the courtroom. That's how much raw emotion filled the courtroom. And I believe her. And what I'm going to do is I'm not going to do a very detailed breakdown right now. I'm going to get myself together and then I'm going to come back and fill you all in on what's going on inside that courtroom and what happened today. I promised you all that when I came here to New York, that I came with an open mind. And the first thing for me was to walk in and to try to be fair in order to deliver as well as I can, because I'm still a human being, right? To deliver unbiased, uncompromised content based on what the witnesses were saying. That's not what I think, who I want to win, who did what, but based in real time every single day. And I promised you all, I said, listen, it's going to change for me every single day based on evidence and facts and what's going on in that courtroom. And what happened in that courtroom today, I'm going to tell you this. It was extremely damaging to the defense, extremely damaging to Diddy. And what I mean by that, I do believe he is going to go to prison. I do believe he is going to go to jail. I want to talk about the witness for a little bit. The witness is credible. And I told you last night, she's the perfect witness. When we think about the other people that have taken a stand, for me as a woman, I didn't hear any ounce of accountability because one thing that the defense was able to establish was consent, right? And I know some of you are emotionally charged about what that means, what that doesn't mean, if the women were groomed or not. But for me, it was really hard to get in line with some of the women that testified because what I did not hear happen previously, no one took a level of accountability. Now, if you go back and if you've been following me, some of the things that I've said is we have to keep in mind that everybody's goal in that courtroom is to win, from the defense to the prosecution to the key witnesses. Everybody's goal is to win, right? And when you come in there and you understand the assignment, you have to say, who do I believe? Who's able to take what they're saying and validate their claims and make it make sense? And to me, up until today, actually starting yesterday, nobody was able to do that because I felt like nobody's hands were clean. And I truly felt like everybody did something that was damning to themselves. And, even some of the women where I was like, okay, there are some instances of bad behavior, and there's some freakiness going on. And maybe you got roughed up a couple of times. However, I needed to hear a level of accountability. And when I tell you Jane Doe has held herself to a standard that I have not seen from any witness, my heart goes out to her. She's credible. She's believable. She admitted to all of her wrongdoings, including the consent. And at one point, the prosecution asked her, how come you continued to engage in these behaviors even when you didn't want to? And she broke down on the stand because she says, I'm not sure. I'm still processing it. And she completely lost any and all control over her emotions. And for me, that was real, that was raw. And I feel like it swung the jury. I feel like it swung the jury because at one point there was a juror that I felt like that was in line with Puffy, that had made a connection with Diddy. And I started to see and notice that his face changed. He seemed to be upset, uncomfortable. And at one point, I saw him kind of staring off as if imagining. Now, I don't know what the man was thinking, but his wheels were turning. And I thought to myself, I wonder if he's imagining, man, what if something like that happens to my daughter? What if something like that happens to my daughter? Right? I do believe they have a case against him now as it relates to RICO charges. I want to get into the thick of it as it relates to what Jane Doe was able to detail and depict, y'all. She did such a great job, even in moments where I feel like she should have called a timeout. She pushed through. She stayed there. And for me as a woman, what this proves to me is, man, I feel like there's no hidden agenda. To my knowledge, she does not have a lawsuit. She's not looking for a payout. I feel like she's truly seeking justice. She never called the police. She never made any accusations of a crime that he committed against herself. But I do believe what she's trying to do is act on the behalf of the state in order to begin her healing journey. And at one point, what she began to do is she started to talk about the free costs. And this is where I say I feel like they truly have a case against him. Because let's establish a few things. Most women that we've heard testify, or we've had the opportunity to kind of jump in regarding the transcripts, they have admitted that there was a level of consent and even levels of pleasure, and they enjoyed it. And she came into the door and she was completely wide open. She was completely transparent. And she said, listen, there were times I really enjoyed it. I wanted it to happen. I felt exhilarated. I felt happy. I was happy to be there. But today, y'all, she took us on a completely different path. And this is why I say I feel like they've established a RICO charge. I feel like they've established the part with the enterprise. Now, this could change when I go back after lunch based on how the defense cross-examines the witness. But what happened is she gave such powerful testimony, y'all, that she would have to endure 18 to 20-hour free coughs. 18 to 20-hour free coughs. And when her body just couldn't take anymore and her body shut down, she gave a damning testimony that he fed her drugs to keep her up. He pushed her, made her keep going. Even when from a physiological state and a scientific state, she could not go any longer. Now, why is this important? I'm going to tell you why this is important, because the body has the ability to override foolishness. The body has the ability to override toxic behavior. You know, some of you, and not me, some of us have gone out before. And if you understand how alcohol works, there's a thing called blackout, right? Where the body can automatically toggle and take you to a point of blackout so that you don't overdrink and open yourself up to alcohol poisoning. And that's when I'm talking about the body has this beautiful ability to self-correct, to self-heal, and readjust, even if it means blacking your ass out and making you go to sleep and you wake up the next day with a huge hangover. So imagine these free coughs that she's involved in. 18 to 20 hours nonstop. She's not allowed to sleep. And at one point, her body gave out. And when her body gave out, she testified under oath. And to my knowledge, I could be wrong. I don't think she's received immunity from anything. I could be wrong, but I need to double check just in case I'm wrong. At one point, when her body gave out, he would put her in the shower, freshen her up, give her more drinks, and encourage her to get back in the game. She gave such grueling testimony. At one point, there was a gentleman that she had to sleep with, and she got a bad vibe, a real bad vibe from him. He was profusely sweating. She didn't feel safe with him. It was just something off about this one. And they said, did you let him know verbally? She said, I was communicating with him from the look on my face, like, this isn't a good one. I don't feel safe. He has this odor. He's sweating. Something is off about him. Something is really off. You know, your body has this beautiful ability to override foolishness, right? So that's called intuitive instinct, where her instinct kicked in and told her she wasn't safe. She's attempting, under oath, testifying that she's attempting to communicate with him visually. This ain't good. She just couldn't perform for him. Now, what would a regular person do? And I don't think there's no regularities in any of this, but let's just pretend. What would a regular person do? You would say, all right, dude, but, maybe tomorrow, maybe a different day. The gentleman was excused. And according to Jane Doe, Diddy said, I got a surprise for you. I got a plan B. Told her go clean up and called another guy in. She even testified under oath that he asked her to come to Miami for your birthday. I want to treat you good. I want to treat you right. I got, I just want it to be us. She flies to Miami for her birthday. And they said, what was your understanding of what would take place for your birthday? She said, I had an understanding that we would have dinner, we would have sex. And they said, sex with who? She said, just me and Sean. Because I've told him before, I don't want to sleep with men, any more men, and especially on my birthday. So I get to Miami, things are good. We go to the hotel. We go down to have dinner. They said, where'd you have dinner? She said, I had dinner. We had dinner in the hotel. We're enjoying ourselves. And then he brings up the conversation of entertainment. So entertainment is code for, I got some entertainment. That's code for a man. And she said her response, they asked her, what was your response to that? She said, entertainment, come on, it's my birthday. It's my birthday. So anywho, according to Jane Doe, she was pushed because if you go back to Mia's testimony a few days ago, Mia said that one time she offended Diddy and she wanted to make it right. And she came and she apologized to him and he looked at her and his response was, keep it moving. And that was the motto in the Bad Boy organization and under Diddy's umbrella, you just keep it moving. So even though the witness is testifying that she did not want to, and typically she would give consent, but she really didn't want to have a freak off that night on her birthday. She just wanted it to be the two of them. They go to the room. A man is there whom she refers to as Leo, and her nickname for him was Italian. So this was a white guy. And let me back up just a little bit. I said it last night, and I'm going to say it again. There's no way that these women, as I'm watching the lineup, y'all, of men after men after men after men after men, and what's so heartbreaking to me is that they were not allowed to use condoms. They were not allowed to use condoms, right? Somebody has to have something. I would be shocked if everybody has a clean bill of health. I would be shocked if nobody has been diagnosed with HIV, AIDS, or anything else. I would be shocked. When I'm telling you full blown lineup where you can probably create about 2 to 3 basketball teams, full blown lineup. And when you see this woman, you start to ask yourself, or at least I did from a psychological perspective, because I hone in on the psychological and the behavioral traits of the Black experience. I begin to ask myself, I understand the level of consent. And I admire her courage for putting that out there. Because I like the fact that she's addressing her own scandal. She didn't say he forced her to do anything. And then she goes on to say, a lot of times I did it just to be able to spend time with him. And what it started to sound like to me is that the women were there for a specific purpose, even under the guise of consent, right? So I began to think about it as a woman. What could be possibly happening on the inside? Oh, she's articulate. She appears to be smart. She can be married, right? If she wanted to be. What would keep a woman in that type of condition? And I know some of you are probably going to say, grooming, grooming, grooming. No, she was free to go at any time because there was a time that she told him, I don't want to do it anymore. He said, that's cool. We can break up. You can leave. Now, outside of the coercion, and I'm going to talk about the coercion that I think they got him on, right? Outside of the coercion, the only thing that she stood to lose was having access to a home, a beautiful home, that the rent was $10,000 a month. So outside of that, up until now, she has not testified that there were any threats of harm if she left or if she disconnected. She has not testified that he's physically abused her. She has not testified that there was any type of that type of treatment, right? That we witnessed on the tape from the Intercontinental Hotel that we saw happening with Cassie. That's what made me think as a woman, what's going on that a woman would convince herself outside of him that I need to stay in order to be loved. But as she begins to go deeper into her testimony, she shared that there was a lineup of men. So that night after dinner, they go to the room. There's a man there. Y'all want to see his attorneys? Here they are. I think I know the other one's Atlanta. I think she's from Atlanta. I'm not certain. Hold on. They're walking in now. That's his attorneys. Those are the attorneys. Okay. They were just out here on break on lunch. So they have dinner. And I was a little shocked because he didn't take her out to a fancy restaurant. They had dinner right there in the hotel. I did catch the name of the hotel, but I was just a little shocked, right? As we think about billionaire status. And that tells me he was in a rush to please himself. And I'm going to go into very graphic detail a little bit later tonight. We're going to do a live, and I'm going to tell you everything. And I also want you to prep yourself for that type of commentary because it's going to be, I'm going to say, trigger warning. Counselor. So the fact that he didn't even leave on site from the hotel to take her to a different kind of restaurant told me that he may have been in a hurry to please himself. And let me put out a disclaimer. Pleasing himself may have taken, according to her, the cycles of the freak offs anywhere between 18 to 20 hours. Are you with me? So they get to the room. There's a gentleman there named Leo. Most of these gentlemen were recruited from Cowboys and Angels, but she nicknamed Leo Italian. So he was a white guy, right? Now with Leo, she said, oh, hold on there. They got bugs out here. With Leo, she said, this one particular, she's always wanted to use condoms, according to her, but she really pushed for a condom. And I think she and Diddy had a style of communication where they would use facial expressions to communicate with each other. But with Leo, she wanted a condom, right? And I think she told him, I think there's some condoms over there in the chair. Now, here's why this is important. It has established not only for the prosecution, the defense, and those of us in the courtroom, but also for the jurors that listen. There were condoms in the room that he could have easily allowed her to use. So it's not like they were not there. She was instructed, or the escorts were instructed not to use them. That's very important because it's not like they were in the heat of the moment and then all of a sudden, hey, I need a condom. You brought the condoms to the freak offs. So now that's going to make us think, why were they not being used? So at one point, she, whatever it was, she really wanted to use a condom with this white guy. And she said, Diddy came in and said, you better not ask for no condom. You better not ask for no condom. So I think what happened is her facial expression may have changed, her body language, her behavior. And at some point, he just said, man, just put on the condom. Here, man, just put on the damn condom or whatever, right? And let me read to you what happened. They asked her, what was his behavior like after he gave Leo the condom to put on? Let me say, she said, let me find it. Just give me a couple of seconds. I took very, very good notes for you all. Just work with me. She said, well, let me go back. Most of the men, y'all, let me tell you what they look like. Rough, tough, dirty looking, sex boys, and most of them have this particular look. Have you ever seen, and I'm going to be a little detailed here, adults only, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you've ever seen images of pornography, there's a particular look. You know, the hair, it's just a look, a little bit of muscular, maybe some beards. It's a look where, where you could say, handsome, but kind of dirty. And let me tell you what I mean by kind of dirty. I believe there's a spiritual thing that happens when you enter into the realm of darkness. And I believe that from a spiritual perspective, there are certain behaviors and activities that impact the way you look aesthetically, not physically, but aesthetically, right? It's just something about you that seems unclean, and you can have on the best clothes, you can have access to the best places, but you just look unclean. And that's what these men look like. Now, let's be, child, it's a little bit of everything going on. Let's be completely clear here. We did not see the photos. The photos were sealed, but I could glance and see the photos on on the defense screen. So I was able to see a portion of them. And these men did not look clean at all. Not overly dirty, not overly dusty, just not clean, okay? So with Leo, she wanted to use a condom. Diddy felt, she said he didn't. He just had an attitude about it. Finally, he was like, here, damn, put on a condom. They asked her, what was his response? What was his response to you wanting Leo to use a condom? She said he became disconnected, visibly upset, not really enjoying the act, shaking his head, disgruntled, displeased, walking in and out of the room, throwing a temper tantrum like a child. And she just needed it and wanted it to be over with. And they said, what happened? She said, Leo finished. What happened when Leo finished? We cleaned up, we took a shower, we got dressed. So here's another thing to remember about the freak offs. Remember when I did my videos? Listen, go back and listen. I told y'all what hotels and what room numbers. I was being messy, but I was being messy for a reason. I said, don't stay in those rooms. And I ran down the hotels and I gave you the room numbers because they would freak off in one room, check out that room, and then go to a different room to kind of have a regular life. So after they finished that freak off with Leo, they checked out of that room, checked into a different room, same hotel. Y'all, guess what happened when they walked in that room? Now, Diddy, you need some type of help. You need to get yourself in a good Bible-based church because when they walked in that room, y'all, Diddy had birthday cake, presents, balloons, flowers. Something is seriously wrong with this man. So in the new room, voila, happy birthday. She said he threw a celebratory party. They get dressed, right? You'll think it's over. You think it's over. They get dressed, they go out, they party. They come back, y'all. And this is the part that broke me down when I said I'm not okay. They come back. She thinks the night is over, and she was forced to go an 20-hour round with multiple men. It's never been that brutal before, she said. It's never been that brutal. And she had to do things over and over and over and over and over and over for 20 hours straight. No break, no sleep, drug after drug after drug after drug. Now let's pause for a second. Let's pause for a second. There's a reason that men like women. We're tender, we're lovely, we're warm. You get my drift? We're adults, and it feels good to them. That's a beautiful act. That's a beautiful act that was specifically created for evolution, for legacy between a man and a woman that love and care for each other. Women respond in a particular way when they have a chemical connection, serotonin, when they love a man, they like him a lot. Their bodies respond to that. However, our bodies are not built, our vaginas are not built to be taken advantage of. And you can only imagine that after about 45 minutes, an hour, maybe the body stopped responding. And to have to endure 20 hours of nonstop activity between multiple men, I'm not okay. Yeah, I got a hookup over. I'm not okay. And here's why. I know you all going to say consent, and I've said consent before. But at some point, the human factor should kick in when you see somebody's body not responding and say, all right, everybody go home. Even if she says, I'm good, she's not good. Who continues to feed somebody drugs just so that they can pleasure themselves from a corner while they watch? You get what I'm saying? I'm not okay. I'm not okay. And the reason why I say I'm not okay, because some of you have daughters that you should be having these conversations with. I met a wonderful Puerto Rican girl named Genesis Hernandez. Shout out to Genesis. I was supposed to shout her out. Wonderful, wonderful, nice kid. Stood in front of me in line, 19 years old, beautiful, just a kid. Came to the courthouse because she said she wanted her friends to come with her. They didn't want to come, but she got up early. Her parents let her come, dropped her off at the courthouse. And y'all, I was so happy that she got to sit by us, good people that would take care of her. Now, you imagine yours, you and yours, and they're going here and there, and they run into a monster. Even the women, even that's why I said nobody's hands are clean. Even the women in this enterprise, your hands are not clean because if you're helping to recruit somebody's daughter to bring them into a situation that's going to change their lives forever, where they will never be the same, mind, body, and spirit, you trash to me. So that young girl, man, she was lovely. We talked. She told me what part of Puerto Rico she's from. Actually, let me tell you, I think I took notes. Dang it, where's my notes? Hold on. It's worth a shout out. Her name is Genesis Hernandez, and she's from Guayama, which is south of Puerto Rico, but it's still in the upper. And I can't read. I can't read her handwriting, but it's still in the upper part. Which is in the east, so I'm always there. She's here. She's flying back to Puerto Rico, I believe, tomorrow. But it's such a pleasure to be able to see these babies, and it's our job to take care of them. So imagine what's happening in the world, even if your kid or an adult gives consent. That's fine. Consent is one. But damn, where is your, where does the human factor kick in? If somebody's collapsing, you don't have them to ingest something to get back in and get in the game so that you can pleasure yourself and help you get there, however long it takes you to get there. And let me just be honest, Diddy enjoyed watching. He enjoyed sitting back watching, and it may have taken him 18 hours to please himself, okay? This is a level of, this is beyond freak offs. I have a lot of questions, and I'm going to talk about it tonight. But it broke my heart that her body said no, and the men in the room said yeah. And this is where I said they got him, because you fed her drugs to continue to go. You failed to render aid. You failed to give her a break. You failed to intervene from just a standpoint, and that's where they're going to say the sex trafficking. You can't feed somebody drugs to push their body to push their body into overdrive, okay? And I'm telling y'all, I'm trying to be fair. Man, I was crying at one point. Y'all listen. Damn. Huh? You didn't hear me cry. No, you did. He said he heard me sniffing. Hold on. But she said, let me read it to you. Let me talk. This is the last thing I'm gonna say. For her birthday, I just told you, the white guy, it was in Miami. So they had the dinner. She had already said, I don't want any more hotel nights. He promised her. They had the restaurant. When he brought up, I got an entertainer. She's like, nah. He said, I just want to have fun for your birthday. I just want to party. I just want to have a good time. She said she felt upset when she walks in and she sees this white man, because at one point she was allowed to choose. She said it was so many men that she engaged with that were strangers, and it started to scare her. And at one point she started to recruit because she wanted to feel safe. We're going to get into all of that a little bit later. So when she walks in, she sees this guy on her birthday. She didn't know him. Diddy didn't know him. At this point, she said it starts to feel, and I'm paraphrasing. She didn't use the word danger, but I can pick up what she was putting down. Some of these guys were sketchy. Some of these guys were completely sketchy, should not have been here, and her body could not respond. And that's when I said he was really upset with her for asking for a condom. She said he browbeat her, he scolded her, he was cold, he was withdrawn. And that's when I broke down and I almost started crying. You know what I'm saying? Um, I told you they switch rooms. It's a lot. It's a lot. We're going to come back and talk a little bit later, but I just wanted to give you a live afternoon update. Thank you all for hanging in there with me. I really appreciate y'all. Somebody send me to dinner tonight. Listen, thank you so much, Aries66, for the $50 super chat. She said, we got you, Queen. Thank you for having me. I love y'all. I'm human, but it just hit my heart. And fellas, those of you that are tuned in, thank you for supporting me. But listen, I got to be fair. I'm a human being. And that with that Jane Doe, and I think most social media, unfortunately, they've leaked the lady's identity. She's believable. She's believable. I don't think she has any hidden agendas. My thoughts. Thank you for the $20 super chat. She says, have lunch on me today. Thanks for being on the ground. Absolutely, it's my pleasure. Dewana Freeman, thank you for the $20 super chat. I appreciate you. Let me see what else we got. Thank you everybody for tuning in. This was a tough and rough day. I do believe the defense is about to cross-examine her, right?
Did they end like that?
I don't know. I walked out, y'all. I had to walk out. How were these men found? These men were found on sites.
Sites of the agency.
Sites. Y'all, this is a whole business. This is a whole operation. Agencies. That's dead. Here's another thing. Now I see why a lot of women want to be single. No pun intended to you guys. And I see why a lot of men don't want to be in relationships. This lady is stunning, beautiful. Men don't have to commit to get what they want. Men don't have to marry women to get anything anymore. It's out there. And as a matter of fact, men are being paid to enjoy themselves. So there's a whole world. So when you say he's reluctant, you never know what people are into because men actually get paid to perform now. Gigolos, hoes, beautiful men, access to beautiful women. And you say, you never know. You could be dating somebody like that. Why won't he commit? Why won't he? He don't have to no more. According to the testimonies that are coming out, they're finding these men, y'all, drop dead gorgeous men, some of them, on these websites that get access to some of these women in Hollywood all day, every day. They get flued out. They get flued out just like women do. We are no longer the commodity. We are no longer the prize. Marriage is not the goal anymore. The world has changed. You better believe me when I say the stuff that we're hearing in there. Let me see what else y'all are talking
His
about.
world is changing now.
Huh?
His world is changing.
Yeah.
I have daughters, so.
Tanisha Blackberry, thank you for the 20 piece. Thank you. She says, hello, Palace and Queen Sheba. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you. Jamal, thank you for being here. Yeah, you're right. You said Mary Magdalene was hanging out with Jesus and did, but he gave her a safe place. And this has got me really thinking. There's a lot on my mind. I'm gonna have a nice dinner tonight. I deserve it, but I'm here. Is that Dennis? Yeah, that's him. You know his. Somebody, you want to say hi? Would you like to come say hi? Somebody recognize you. Come this way. Okay. You want to say hello? Somebody just said, "Is that Dennis?" Dennis, yeah,
That
that's
is
Dennis.
me. How are you? What's the name of your platform?
I'm Queen Sheba.
You Queen Sheba.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Hi.
I've been watching for so long. Oh my goodness.
Y'all, I never show my face, so a lot of people, that's a safety for me. But yes, Dennis, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've been in media for about 30 plus years. I own Hip Hop Inquirer, co-founder of The Style Reporter, and I've been pretty much covering trials since OJ was on trial. I covered
Okay.
Tupac, OJ, all the big trials.
All right, you travel from just
I
city
travel
to.
all over the country.
All right, well, I hope to see you soon.
Yeah, you're gonna be seeing me until this trial's over.
All right.
I
Or do you live here, or where did you come
I
in
live in
from?
Atlanta, but I flew up for the trial.
He flew in for this trial. Did you move to an apartment, or are you doing a hotel?
Well, I got a nice.
You got
I got some nice digs. I don't want to really.
Okay, well, help me out, shit. Look, Dennis.
No, hold on. It's all this orange in here, girl. You don't need no help now. You need me to carry the money.
Don't count my coin. You see, he count my coin now. Look, now that ain't for you to be. He put down my little bit. You see him count my damn coin.
Listen, all that orange has hurt my eyes.
He told us, yes. Y'all, I'm gonna treat myself tonight, baby. I'm gonna get me an Uber. I'm gonna go have dinner. I deserve it, don't I?
Yes, you do. And she was crying. Listen, she was crying. I heard her crying. She was sitting to the right of me. I heard her crying. Like, I was like, I made me want to cry. It was bad.
It was bad. Am I right? It's bad.
No, you tell the truth.
It's really bad.
Really bad.
It's bad. Did it change your mind in any way? Because I know we both said that we came with an open mind. Has it shifted your thoughts? And if so, in what way?
Well, my thoughts are that his behavior towards a woman is awful. Does it add up to some of the charges? They're getting very close.
They're getting close now, aren't they?
This one right here, that she probably gave the most impactful testimony.
Yes.
And the defense is gonna obviously try to throw the kitchen sink at her.
Yeah.
But she was very moving on the stand.
Period.
Her delivery, her tonnage,
her authenticity, her response, her accountability.
She
took accountability.
When asked, did you choose? At some point did you choose? Man, she said yes. Did you want? She said no. She did it because she wanted to make me happy. I mean,
She wanted to be in a relationship
the
with me.
fact that you tell another woman, like, forget your, this is supposed to be your main woman. This is supposed to be a woman. To tell her to remove the condom, like, this can't be a main woman. You don't do that to, you don't do that. You don't have to
Yeah,
tell the main
yeah,
woman,
I
like,
agree.
with strangers. Like he viewed her as trash. Let's be honest.
Aren't they drop dead gorgeous? These
Yeah.
women.
Yeah, and this one here, I'm not revealing her
Yeah,
identity,
yeah,
but
yeah.
like you guys, you know what I'm talking about.
Y'all know her. It's shocking at the things that these women will go through. But so now we got to talk about the psychology of the dark world and then the psychology of the women that raise their hand and say, "I'll go." Because my question to you ladies is
Say bye. Say bye.
what are you teaching?
Bye, ladies and
Okay.
gentlemen. I see you in the next live.
Okay.
Mr. Dennis Byron on all social media
All
platforms and
right.
Hip Hop Inquirer.
Hip
Bow.
Hop Inquirer. That's the owner, founder of C. And I didn't know he listened to me, but I never show my face. But now y'all know it. So listen, now we got to talk about the levels of accountability, right? When we know that's a bad. We know what's happening on that side is bad. But then we have to look at ourselves as a family unit, right? A nuclear family, single parent homes, whatever, and say, are the men having conversations with their daughters? Are the women having conversations with your daughters? When those teens, when those women, when those college girls walk out the door, are you just assuming they gonna be all right? Are you saying, are you teaching them you got complete, free, utter control of your body? You don't owe a nigga shit. You hear me? I don't give a damn if he flew you to the moon and back. You ain't gotta do shit. It don't matter if you said yeah. And not only that, even if he tell you, that's cool, we'll break up. Teach your kids how to cope with separation. Teach your kids how to have confidence in disconnecting and walk away. Stop telling the girls they're pretty. Stop just complimenting the aesthetics and push some power in them. Push some coping strategies in them. Get in their heads and teach them it's okay to be strong. We're not backing up off of that. You own your body. You determine when, what, who, where, when, and you ain't got to give nobody nothing in exchange for anything, right? So we got a lot to talk about today, and I'm going to come back. I thank each and every one of you. Thank you, High Vibrations, for the $20 super chat. She says, I love your coverage. Um, on the case. God bless you. I appreciate you. Thank you again, Sexy RM, for the $50 super chat. She says, sound like he appeals to the little girls inside these grown women who are ready and seeking love, acceptance, be seen, etc. That may not be a crime, but it's very predatory. We need to find a way to reach these ladies. But here's the thing, it happens every day. See, a lot of you that are tuned in are with men that have told you, I ain't really looking for nothing. And sometimes as women, we think, I just need to love him. And when he sees that I'm different, I can cook, I can clean, I keep a clean house, I'm warm, I'm a Christian. Same shit, just a different level, a higher bracket, a different tax bracket, different income. See, some of us do it. And we find ourselves as baby mamas. We find ourselves finding, well, I thought after 5 years we had something. Let me tell you something. When a man says, because she says, Diddy told her, I'm seeing other people. When a man tells you where he is, believe him, accept it. That's the first mistake you make when when you deny yourself what it is that you want, ladies. In the words of Shakespeare, and to thine own self be true. You got to be able to say, all right, like him, love him. But he told me how many times he's not really with that life of just treating me as the only one. We also got to talk about that. What makes us stay? What makes us think we're different, right? Tanisha, okay, I got you. Let's see who else. April, RN Virgo, thank you for the 20 piece. She says, we appreciate you, Queen. I appreciate y'all. Listen, Royal Bristonian, thank you. I think you're from Canada. Thank you. She says, love the coverage. I'm back to only be one kind, sending love, light. Thank you for the $50 super chat. And thank you, Kendra Curry. Kendra with the 20 piece. She says, cocktails on me. That's a lie. It's a lie. Girl, I was shaking. You hear me? I was shaking. I couldn't even. So imagine if I'm shaking because I'm trying to suppress my emotions and be professional. Imagine what her body was going through when she just couldn't give anymore. You get what I'm saying? Everything's so crazy. Thank you for the $10 super chat. We appreciate you. The real V. Thank you for the $10 super chat. She says thanks for being boots on the ground. I'm happy to be here, but I did not realize it would be this. What's the word, y'all? It would be this emotional.
certainly on direct testimony. So
And here's another thing. I know I'm a content creator and I'm here covering the content,
to tell over a really terrible
but
story,
I'm people centered. Okay.
crying through the parts that you would expect.
I'm people centered. I feel it. I know what somebody's putting on too. I know what somebody's putting on. But this is probably the most impactful witness. I thank you all for pulling up. I'm going to go a little bit more into detail because it's really, I feel like it's important for me to kind of give you more information about what's happening and why I think we have started and the door has been opened to the RICO charge, starting with enterprise, interstate commerce, the drugs, who ran the drugs, the name of the people that he would call. Listen, it goes deep. It goes really deep. We got names. We calling names tonight. Y'all, the assistants carrying drugs. I mean, people that are carrying drugs through the airport, how they get you to be a runner, even though you know you can go to prison, how they talk you into it is deep. All of that came out. You hear me? You hear me? And you say, how can you get caught up in this? I don't know. But they do, they did, and they have. And with that being said, I thank you, everybody. I got to go back into the courthouse. The judge told us to come back at a particular time. I want to go so that I don't miss anything. Thank you, everybody. I will see you a little bit later.